What if the monster lurking behind the facade of normalcy was someone you passed every day? A neighbor? A coworker? Someone so unassuming that no one could have imagined the darkness festering beneath. Tonight, we peel back the layers of a story so twisted, so chilling, that it will challenge everything you think you know about envy, obsession, and the human capacity for evil. This isn't just a tale of a killer. It's a glimpse into the fractured mind of a psychopath whose jealousy ignited a bloody rampage. And trust me, you won't see the ending coming. But before we dive deep, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Because if you think this story is wild, wait till you see what we've got lined up next. Also, grab a snack, maybe some popcorn. It's gonna be a long night. In a quiet, unassuming town in the Midwest, think manicured lawns, picket fences, and families who wave at each other as if they were part of one big, happy neighborhood. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else's business, or at least thinks they do. Meet Michael Reynolds, a man who, on paper, was exactly what this town admired. A steady job as an auto mechanic, a modest home, and a history of community volunteer work. He kept his head down, his hands busy under the hoods of cars, and his mouth mostly shut. Yet, beneath Michael's calm exterior, something sinister was brewing. The first victim was Sarah Matthews, a young woman in her early 30s. She was vibrant, the kind of person who seemed to light up a room without even trying. Sarah ran the local bakery, famed for its cinnamon rolls that brought the community together each morning. Neighbors remembered seeing Sarah late one night, unusual for her, walking briskly home after closing shop. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. A week later, Jason Whitaker, a well-liked high school teacher and amateur cyclist, disappeared on his usual evening ride. His bike was found abandoned by the riverside. His phone never recovered. Then, over the next 2 months, 3 more victims vanished, each with no clear connection, each leaving the town gripped by a growing wave of fear. When the bodies were finally found, some weeks after their disappearances, the scene was horrific. Each victim had been killed in a manner that spoke to deep, ritualistic rage. Sarah's body was discovered in the woods behind the bakery, stabbed repeatedly with a hunting knife, her fingers clawed as if she fought desperately. Jason was found bound, strangled with a length of rope, the cold water of the river chilling his corpse. The others bore marks of extreme violence, blunt force trauma, precise incisions, and signs of restraint. The killer didn't just want to kill, he wanted to exert control, to dominate. Despite the brutality, there was an eerie silence around the investigation. No one in the neighborhood reported seeing anything suspicious. In fact, many swore they had no idea these people were even missing until the police started knocking on doors. Michael Reynolds was questioned briefly but dismissed as a routine procedure. He had no criminal record, no motive, and his alibi for the nights in question held up under scrutiny. But one detail caught the detective's attention. Michael's name appeared frequently in the victim's social media circles. Sarah had followed him on Instagram. Jason had messaged him once about car repairs. As investigators dug deeper, things didn't add up. Michael's workshop was pristine, almost too clean. The tools were spotless, no sign of blood or disturbance. Yet, a forensic sweep revealed a faint trace of blood beneath a floorboard, wiped clean but detectable. Neighbors described Michael as quiet, almost invisible, but others remembered strange outbursts, moments where his calm shattered into rage over trivial things. One woman recalled him yelling at his reflection in a car window late one night. "They all think they're better than me." Another puzzling fact, phone records showed Michael made late-night calls to a burner phone. Numbers untraceable, voices unfamiliar. Okay, pause for a moment. What do you think? Is Michael truly innocent? Or is there something darker behind that calm facade? Drop your theories in the comments below, and while you're at it, smash that like button if you love a good twist. We're just getting started. Experts later interviewed painted a disturbing picture. Michael suffered from severe envy, not just casual jealousy, but a pathological fixation on others' success and happiness. He envied the attention Sarah got from the town, the respect Jason commanded in the classroom. In his mind, their achievements highlighted his failures. This envy wasn't silent. It festered, growing like a cancer, twisting his thoughts and warping his perception of reality. Further forensic evidence eventually tied all the killings to Michael Reynolds. And here's the twist. He acted alone. A diagnosed psychopath, Michael's charm masked a complete lack of empathy. His killings were not spontaneous acts of rage, but carefully planned executions fueled by simmering jealousy. He stalked his victims, studying their routines, learning their vulnerabilities. Each murder was a release valve for his festering resentment, a brutal attempt to reclaim power he felt deprived of. One chilling detail stood out. At every crime scene, investigators found a small, handcrafted wooden figure shaped like a clawed hand. No fingerprints, no DNA, just a silent signature of the killer's twisted psyche. The town was shattered. Families mourned. Lives were forever altered. The idea that such evil hid behind the familiar was a collective wound. Michael's neighbors grappled with guilt. How had they missed the signs? How could a man so ordinary commit such atrocities? Psychologists say that envy, when left unchecked, can be one of the most dangerous human emotions. In Michael's case, it became the fuel for one of the most horrifying serial killing sprees the region had seen in decades. But this is not the end. Further investigations revealed something so shocking and sinister that it changed everything detectives thought they knew about the case. A secret buried in Michael's past. A connection to another string of unsolved disappearances from years ago. The question now is, was Michael Reynolds truly acting alone? Or was there a deeper, darker network pulling the strings behind the scenes? If you thought this was intense, just wait. The story takes a darker turn, and the secrets come flooding out. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and join the conversation. Because when envy turns deadly, the truth is stranger, and far more terrifying than fiction. Michael Reynolds, the quiet mechanic whose envy spiraled into a violent killing spree that shocked a whole town. But as the dust settled, detectives uncovered secrets so dark they threatened to rewrite the entire story. Tonight, we pull back the curtain on the sinister underworld lurking beneath small-town America, and trust me, this rabbit hole goes far deeper than you ever imagined. The arrest of Michael Reynolds brought momentary relief, but unease lingered. Families of victims struggled with unanswered questions. How could one man, seemingly so ordinary, harbor such darkness? And why did the killing stop so abruptly with his capture? More pressingly, local police uncovered unsettling clues suggesting the Rampage was only a fragment of a far larger puzzle. Months after Michael's arrest, a rookie detective revisiting cold case files stumbled upon a pattern. Years earlier, a string of disappearances in neighboring counties bore eerie similarities. Victims vanished without trace, some with whispered rumors of ritualistic markings. Strangely, Michael Reynolds had lived in one of those counties during that time, but the past killings had never been linked to him. Digging into Michael's background revealed startling inconsistencies. Official records placed him as a stable employee with no disciplinary issues, but his high school files told a different story. Disciplinary warnings for aggressive behavior, isolation, and disturbing drawings filled his notebooks. Those drawings depicted clawed hands, twisted faces, and cryptic symbols. The same clawed hand figures left at the crime scenes. Criminal psychologists assigned to the case built a chilling profile. Michael was not just a psychopath, but a classic example of a disorganized killer. Someone whose envy and rage were channeled into ritualistic violence, but who lacked a coherent motive understandable to others. His wooden clawed hand figures were interpreted as symbols of power, a talisman to control the chaos he felt in his own mind. In a chilling confession, Michael spoke cryptically about taking what was owed and cutting down those who soared above. He admitted to the murders but refused to talk about the earlier disappearances, denying involvement despite the circumstantial evidence. Yet, surveillance footage from one cold case town showed a man matching his description near the scene of another disappearance. Then came a mysterious phone call, an anonymous tip pointing investigators toward a secluded cabin in a remote forest. Inside, they found disturbing evidence: photographs of victims, personal belongings, and a journal detailing Michael's thoughts. but also references to someone else, someone called the Watcher. This enigmatic figure was never identified, but references suggested a shadowy presence overseeing Michael's actions, possibly influencing or even orchestrating parts of the killings. Could Michael have been a pawn in a larger, more sinister game? Alright, what do you think about this Watcher? Is Michael a lone wolf? Or is there someone pulling the strings? Drop your wildest theories below, and don't forget to like if you love a good mystery wrapped in more mystery. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to fix that before things get even crazier. Further investigations uncovered a hidden online forum, an encrypted chat room where anonymous users discussed disturbing fantasies about power, control, and cleansing the community. Digital footprints linked some participants to people close to Michael's victims, raising the chilling possibility that the murders were part of a twisted cult or criminal network. As detectives closed in on potential suspects, an unexpected fire broke out at a local storage facility housing key evidence, including digital devices and case files. Though ruled accidental, many suspected foul play. Someone was desperate to keep the truth buried. The families, the investigators, the town, all caught in a web of fear and uncertainty. One mother's voice broke on camera. "We just want answers. To know why this happened. To know if it will ever end." The killer's envy had ignited not just murder, but a spiral of secrets, lies, and cover-ups. And just when it seemed like the nightmare couldn't deepen any further, new forensic analysis revealed a DNA match from a source nobody expected, linked not just to the murders but to other cold cases spanning the region. Who was the real mastermind behind the Rampage? And how far does this network extend? If you thought the first part was chilling, wait until you see where this goes next. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and join us for part 3, where we finally expose the truth behind the Watcher and the real face of evil lurking in the shadows. This one's going to leave you speechless. For weeks, we've unraveled a mystery thick with shadows, secrets, and whispers of a hidden mastermind. Tonight, the final pieces fall into place. The truth is darker and more personal than anyone dared imagine. In the end, there was only one killer, and his name is Michael Reynolds. Months of investigation and digital surveillance ultimately confirmed the Watcher was not a separate person, nor part of a secret cult. It was a psychological construct, an alter ego Michael created to justify and distance himself from his actions. This dissociative coping mechanism gave him a dangerous sense of control, allowing him to rationalize the brutality as orders from an external force. The mysterious DNA found on some crime scenes initially suggested multiple perpetrators, but advanced forensic reanalysis showed the DNA belonged to Michael himself, present in different biological states, consistent with the psychological fragmentation uncovered during interviews. During lengthy interrogations, Michael disclosed harrowing details. His envy had metastasized into an obsession. He believed the world rewarded the successful unfairly, and that by eliminating those he envied, he was restoring balance. The clawed hand figurines were symbolic weapons in his mental war, a signature meant to intimidate and claim ownership over his victims' fates. Each murder was methodical but emotionally charged. Michael targeted victims whose lives he saw as trophies he could never possess. The successful baker, the respected teacher, the charming artist. His violence was a twisted response to feelings of inadequacy and humiliation, masked by a chilling detachment during the acts. Michael's eventual capture ended the spree, but left a community struggling to heal. Neighbors wrestled with betrayal, wondering how well they truly knew the man next door. Victims' families found little solace in the psychological explanations. Their pain was raw and enduring. Experts emphasized that envy, when combined with psychopathic traits, can be lethal. Unlike ordinary jealousy, this pathological envy erases empathy and fuels violent rage. Michael's case became a stark example of how untreated mental illness, isolation, and festering resentment can culminate in tragic violence. The legal system swiftly convicted Michael Reynolds, but the emotional scars remained. Counselors worked tirelessly to support survivors and families, while the town erected memorials to honor the victims. Yet questions linger. How many more like Michael hide behind everyday masks? How do we recognize and intervene before envy becomes murderous? This case serves as a somber reminder. Beneath the surface of ordinary lives can lurk extraordinary darkness. Envy, when twisted by a fractured mind, can ignite horrors no one wants to confront. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through the mind of a killer fueled by envy. If this story moved you, hit that like button, share it with someone who loves true crime, and subscribe for more deep dives into the darkest corners of human nature. And remember, sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we never see coming.